I love. Welcome, everybody. This is the Wednesday night teleclass for the Cuddlist Basic Online Training. I'm Madeline Guinazzo, co-founder and director of training for this program. And I love doing this call every week. I love really getting to connect in person with all of you and talk about what's coming up for me around my practice. What do I have to share that I think will be useful? And tonight I want to talk about being your own client. And I mean this kind of metaphorically, but I also mean it literally. And I'll tell you how this came about. I had a client I've been seeing for a while, and my birthday came around, and they wanted to do something nice for me. And so they said, you know what I really want to give you for your birthday? They said, I want to give you what you give me. I want to give you an hour of your own time. And so they paid me for a session and said, this session is for you. I want you to give yourself this time the way you give it to me. And I was so moved by that. I was really touched because, I mean, I'm a caregiver. I'm a mom, and it was sort of that challenge of self-care is always a challenge and finding time for myself. But somebody really gifting it to me really helped me show up for it. And so that was kind of the initial motivation. And when I did it and sat down and I discovered, wow, this is really powerful. And at this point, it's kind of becoming part of my regular practice, and it's something that we assign in the advanced training. And so I want to share it with all of you to say I really, really recommend doing this. So what I'm suggesting is that you literally set a timer, set aside an hour for yourself, and sit with yourself and maybe make that opening agreement if you need or want to, but really, and also set the space, find the music, find, the temperature, if you want aromatherapy, whatever you want, and be very intentionally in that space with yourself and say, you know what, everything is welcomed here. What you're feeling is welcomed here. And how would you like to feel? What would feel good to you right now? What are you needing? What would feel comforting? And really hold that space for yourself to see what is the part of yourself that wants your attention. And it's amazing, sometimes it's the parts of ourselves that can be hard to be with, the parts of ourselves that we kind of neglect and push aside because maybe they're a little too needy or inconvenient. They can be whiny. They can have all kinds of things that maybe we don't necessarily are comfortable hearing the rest of our life. But when we can intentionally sit with those parts of ourselves the way we would sit with our clients, and being with clients is really that unconditional positive regard. Some of you are new to this, but when I've been doing this so long, it's such a privilege and a gift, and there's a liberating feeling to be able to sit with somebody unconditionally, whatever they're bringing. I'm happy to be there. I'm clear with my boundaries about kindness and respect, honoring our own comfort level, setting that opening agreement, but then really being there with empathy and not fixing them, not having to change them, but really being curious and open and with that presence. So bringing that to any part of yourself, that unconditional positive regard to the parts of you that might feel sad or hurt or angry or scared, and let them know you're welcomed here. You're welcomed for this period of time. And you can set your boundaries. If 10 minutes is all you can give them, then give them 10 minutes. And sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it even helps. I'm encouraging you to be creative and experiment with this and try this. Sometimes it's helpful to have two chairs, to trade places, to be the practitioner and say, I hear you. You seem sad. Do you want to tell me more about that? And then switch to the other chair and say, yeah, I'm really upset about this or that. And, give it a voice or give it tears or let yourself feel it. And then switch back to that part of yourself that says, I see you. I'm so happy that you're here and that I get to be with you. And empathize, don't fix. And just see what that feels like. And maybe it's not a sad part. Maybe it's just a part that wants to play or have fun or be silly and not be a productive grown-up at that particular time. So whatever it is, I really encourage you to do this. And if it sounds silly to you, do it anyway. Just start with little bits and see what happens, and let it be an experiment. Let it be something that you're curious about. I really say for me, this has become a practice of self-love. It's good for me. It fills me up in that way that self-care does. It makes me a much better practitioner. It builds compassion, strength, and capacity to be, with myself and with my clients. Yeah. I'll open it up in a moment. I want to say the part that showed up for me today, I did this practice today, which is why I'm talking about it. The part that showed up for me this afternoon that really wanted to cuddle was from 4th to 6th grade. I was a latchkey kid. I spent time after school alone, and it was hard for me. It was a time where I felt lonely. I felt bored. I wanted interaction. I wanted some connection. And this little girl was like, full of these thoughts and feelings that nobody wanted to be with her, or that she shouldn't feel bad, that, that she'd get in trouble if she complained and things like that. And it was so wonderful to just kind of hold her in my lap, and metaphorically in a way, but hold her and stroke her hair and just say, you're wonderful, and it doesn't mean anything about you, and you're doing the best you can, and just, it was I'm feeling it. I'm still feeling that feeling of that inner warmth and connection of being able to cuddle myself. So I'm curious how this sounds to you, if it just sounds kind of far-fetched or strange, or if this is something that, you've done or you're familiar with. I'd love to hear your stories.